Miles, do we have any questions from the audience that we can weave in yet?
Yeah, so Rob, I think so. I think with Ivana talking about COVID, I've got one here that kind of follows on with that, and maybe we can bring in Roger and Frank to see. They're asking, so they said being a CEO is kind of a stressful job in normal times. What helped you the most to lead yourself and your team through the last year with the pandemic?
We'll just open that to anybody.
What's helped me personally the most? Goodness, I mean, we've it's balancing the interaction to offset the limited physical interactions. So we've had more regular senior team meetings on Zoom, but then if people don't want to literally video in and want to just dial in, that's fine. Realizing the pressures of going to a truly virtual existence are tough. So that's helped me interact, keep the business running, to replace the lack of interaction we would have had otherwise. I've also, I think, building on Ivana, probably communicated more with the broader team. Our company is split between not just Santa Monica, we still have offices in London as well. We've been a lot more, I think, and hopefully this is a theme that will outlast COVID. I think we've been a lot more compassionate with our employees, realizing that it's all very well as the CEO having greater visibility into what's going on in the company. But if you're a more junior member of staff working in your apartment in miserable weather in London, how are you feeling over the last year? And what can we do to help? So really putting myself in the shoes of not just me, but everyone else in the company and how they're feeling about what's going on has really allowed us to provide more support than I think we ever have before, even prior to COVID.
Yeah, I would add to that. Yeah. I actually had meetings with all my team members, and the first thing I would always ask is, how are you doing? Versus, what's going on, because there's plenty of meetings for that. And then despite COVID, we actually, because we were so young and some of us didn't even meet in person. People were hired on COVID. Obviously, there were some people that I knew from the industry, but we had quite a few people that we never met. And so despite COVID, while the weather was still good, we actually did things together in the open. We went apple picking and hiking just to try to build those relationships between people, which are so hard to do. It's one thing to have a company and then COVID hits because those relationships already exist. But it's something very different to start to build the relationships and the culture in that kind of environment. So, we had fun too. We had beer and cheers on Zoom, and you can get very creative with what you can accomplish just to get to know each other. But I agree with the compassion part of things. I think that was really, really important. And the fact that we said, we will provide as much flexibility to people as possible to be able to deal with, whatever was happening at home, in addition to being able to do the work for Vigil. And I think that went a long way.
Frank, I think you were going to add something.
Just from my standpoint, what I'd say that, we tried a lot to bring a little bit of sunshine into people's lives. And that helped me personally as well. And just as an example, when COVID was first hitting, there was a lot of uncertainty about what was going to happen across the board for employees and both professionally and also in their home lives. And instead of sending some, corporate message or whatnot, we sent cupcakes. And we said, hey, here's a little bit of sunshine. We're thinking about you. And that really triggered a lot of, I think, outreach and some ideas about how we could all stay better connected and support each other during this pandemic. And honestly, I attribute small things like that to helping us go public during the teeth of the pandemic in June of last year and being very, very successful at not only doing that, but advancing our science. And so I think it's those little things that just show that you care. And when you do that, when you give, you get a lot back. And that helps to keep you energized in your job.